Hello, everyone. Welcome to Peak Presence Leadership Origin Stories, episode number 3. Today, I have my friend, someone I've gotten to know since the beginning of this year, Rom Mendel. Rom is the CEO of Optinova Group. And I want to share just a quick story because it tells you what kind of, aside from being a great leader who has grown and scaled a business very successfully, it'll show you what kind of human being he is. So be quite honest, I was just kind of blindly reaching out to leaders that I found on LinkedIn. And Rom was one of those people, and sent him a message. And I'm nervous as I send this, right? Because in my mind, I'm like, here's a CEO, someone who's done really well, and who am I to reach out to him? And he responded, and I have the message pulled up here. He said, "Hi, I'm pretty slammed these next few weeks. Can we revisit in mid-February? What would you like to discuss?" And, obviously at the end of the day, like, we all have motives connected to our business and self-interest, but I'm like, you know what? I think I'm just going to be transparent. And he probably doesn't even remember this message I sent. Thank you for the willingness to be completely transparent. I'd like to learn. I spent most of my life afraid, and it led me down a dark path. Over a number of years, countless great people picked me up and taught me a new way of life and just taught me a lot about life and business. You clearly have had a great career and are in the middle of a great career. I'd be grateful for the opportunity to learn from you, your mindset, how you view leadership. So that's the type of message I sent. I don't know how many people would respond to that, but he responded and said he's happy to help and kind of share his perspective. So that's how my relationship with Rom has started. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Rom Mendel. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Really good to be here.
So what did prompt you to respond to me?
Um, I guess something about you wrote there, kind of connected with you wanna pass it forward, right? You wanna help people, and since you were courageous enough to reach out and be honest about why you're reaching out, I felt the least I can do is respond and connect. So yeah, I don't think there was more than that. It's just that as human beings, every once in a while, we need to do more than just think about the business interest. We need to think about life bigger than this. I mean, with Optinova, our vision is actually that we improve life quality wherever we operate. And if I can't try to be a role model for that, then what's the point of the vision?
I was sort of blindly reaching out. I don't even know if I researched Optinova, but turns out it's in the space that my my firm practices in. So right there were synergies there as well that I didn't even realize. Again, part of this is to really help people understand what makes a leader, how leaders think. For you, when you were beginning your career, did you have a goal in mind, like you wanted to build and scale organizations at the executive CEO type level? Like, how did that evolve in your career?
The short answer is no, absolutely not. I did not know that one day I would be an executive level leader or CEO. So I think it was you start on a path where you're just doing what you like to do and you enjoy it and you get better at it, and suddenly there's other opportunities coming in and you go that way, and then you get more responsibilities and you get more opportunity, and then you go in another direction. I think that for people who start their career planning, I want to be CEO one day. I think maybe not all of those will succeed, because being a CEO on its own is not, in my view, the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal should be, in my view, is that you continuously improve, develop, and contribute to the organization where you're at, and then the opportunities will come. And actually, at some point, you need somebody. I believe you need somebody in your career. You can call it a mentor, or just somebody influential that was there at the right time to give you that opportunity and challenge you and see if you rise to the challenge. And I had somebody like that in my career that at some point said to me, "Rom, you can lead this business. I can hand it over to you when I leave."
Oh,
And I said, "Well, oh no, I'm not sure I'm ready for that." But through the conversation with him, um, I realized that probably I could do it. And it's not like I knew everything, and I was definitely had butterflies in my stomach, but If somebody believes in you and then challenges you, and you're willing to take that risk, and you rise to the challenge, then that's where you get the opportunity. So again, it's not something that I planned before. It's just something that I matured into over my career.
But for someone to recognize that in you, like what was your focus as you were going through your career? Was it just the consistent daily actions of kind of going above and beyond for the company, for the team? What was your kind of mindset as you were, because not everyone's going to recognize that in everybody.
Yeah, no, of course you need to have a certain skill set that in some way differentiates you from others. Where so because somebody needs to pick you for the next level and the next level, right? So yeah, hard work is absolutely a part of it. But I think also the skill set that a combination of being able to have a strategic mindset, analytics, as well as execution, is important for you to become an executive leader. Um, a good leader has their guiding principles, and I have my guiding principles, and I guess I try to live up to those. Not that I'm saying I'm
Mhm.
perfect, but I try to live up to those, and I think that the better I get at them, the better leader I become, and that maybe that's where also where some people can recognize my efforts. So
What are your guiding principles?
yeah, so I mean, some of them probably pretty straightforward. I mean, there are three. There are basically three of them. If I really boil it down, it's three. The first one is clarity. I believe that a leader's number one priority in an organization is to provide clarity. Clarity on why we're here, why are we doing what we're doing? Clarity on, in order to do that, what do we need to prioritize? And what do we need to down prioritize? So what we're not going to do. Clarity on how we're going to execute, and clarity on how we're going to measure success. So clarity is number one. And every day as a leader, you get confronted with choices and trade-offs. So clarity, providing clarity to the organization is an ongoing, continuous effort, so that the organization doesn't get distracted by this or that. It goes, but you're still working toward a common goal. So everybody works together toward a common goal. So clear priorities for the company, clear priorities for each individual contributing, so everybody knows what their success factors would look like. So that's number one, clarity. I believe the second one is about relentless commitment to execution, and it has to be relentless. It has to be extremely diligent. That we have a plan, we follow up on that plan and measure it on a regular basis. And when we don't deliver on that plan, we dare to ask why, and then there could be two answers, either or two actions from that. Either because the world has changed and we need to change our plan, or no, we're just not executing well enough, and then we need to put some extra efforts there. But if the goal is clear, there's clarity on where we're going, why are we doing it, then the plan needs to be executed well. And I believe that many companies had a great strategy but didn't execute, because
Mhm.
you're always confronted with the realities of life. The market is changing, the world is changing, the customers are demanding. So there's always be reasons why you can't execute. But that's where you continuously need to go back and say, we need to hold ourselves accountable, ensure the accountability on on a company level, accountability on the individual level, and continuous monitoring, so that we say, hey, are we executing? If not, why? And this is not about blaming anybody. The last thing we ever do is about blaming. In our company, the mantra is we fail until we succeed. Uh, we expect that people will fail or not totally succeed, and that's okay. We just want to learn from it. We share our experiences and we move on. So relentless commitment to execution doesn't mean that people can not allowed to fail. On the contrary, we expect people to
Mhm.
fail until they
Wow.
succeed. Um, the third principle I would say is can be maybe packaged under the name servant leadership. And you could also call it about being a caring leader. And what it means is that as a leader, I come to work. It's not that people come to work for me because I'm the leader. I come to work for my people. So my job, my success factors is by empowering and supporting the team. And that's where I bring value. Because most of the people in my organization know much more about what they do than I do. I'm not the expert. They're all experts within their fields. So where do I add value? I add value by supporting them, helping them,
Wow.
empowering them, occasionally coaching them. Um, and therefore, when I come to work, I'm there for them. So the last thing a good leader needs is a closed office and an assistant sitting outside as a barrier to anybody coming in. No, it should be the opposite. Open door. Everybody could come in and disturb me. Anybody should come in and ask questions when they need to. They should feel that they can spar with me. They can coach. They can get some coaching sessions with me. Which means that rarely can I focus on one thing when I'm at work. That means that I need to do my more focused work outside the office hours on other occasions. And again, it's not like I'm saying that anybody needs to sacrifice themselves for it. It's actually that's my success factor, is to empower my people, see them develop so that they can succeed. And
Wow.
that's the mindset you need to have when you come to work.
Wow.
Maybe I would add to that also that and maybe that's a little bit of a military speak, but officers eat last. So you make sure that basically you share the same facilities, the same benefits as everybody else, and you're there. You're eating with your team. You're there. You're part of the team. Yes, I'm the senior person, and the buck stops with me, but I'm still part of the team, and it's not like I need to have big privileges or anything like that. Um, yeah, that's I think that's it in a nutshell. The three principles.
Do you have a military background?
I do. So I started a few years in the military.
And I imagine is what you learn there, it sounds like it correlating to how you're leading the organization?
Yeah, I absolutely took a lot of my experiences. I think as a leader today come from that time in the military. And what another thing that it teaches you is to not be afraid, but to live with your fear and manage your fear, so that you can still operate despite the fact that you're insecure. That's normal. We all have our fears. We all have insecurities, but we still need to move on and execute.
And I can really appreciate that answer, and the fact that you would admit that as the CEO, we all have fears and insecurities. But I think that's such a true statement, but a lot of us are not willing to admit that. What do you have anything you do on a daily basis when you might be feeling some of those fears or just feeling some of the insecurities, things you do to combat that? Any specific practices to help with that?
Quite a few. One of them, I try to keep a healthy lifestyle just in general, so that my diets and exercise, I think they're important to keep a positive mindset. But the other also to surround yourself with really good people. So my executive team in my company are fantastic people, and I would never succeed without them. So the fact that I can share the burden with extremely talented people who are also willing to work, to step up far and beyond what maybe the job description is, means that we face the uncertainties together, and we debate them and discuss them, and we do our risk analysis every time so that we understand if the fear is justified or not, or and we understand the consequences if things don't go the right way, what will happen with us. So I think both on an individual level you can do a lot to be more resilient. So it's very important for a leader to be resilient, because you'll be confronted with problems all the time. And the other part is, of course, surround yourself with people who are smarter than you, more talented than you, know better than you, and then you also have a possibility of benefiting
Oh.
from their resilience to combat that.
I think a lot of what I'm hearing throughout this conversation so far is ego is the enemy. As you've worked your way up and been given these opportunities, I still don't sense much of an ego. I mean, there's probably some component that you kind of have at that level. If you could just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'd love to tell you that I'm a humble man, but I think some of my friends or colleagues will dispute that. I have an ego. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's something that drives you to do more all the time, never be satisfied.
Mhm.
Some competitive nature. Of course, that's part of what drove me as well. So I think it's as you get more experience, you get older, you learn to temper that ego and that drive to understand that it's not about you at the end of the day. As talented as I can be, if I if I if I don't have the right people around me, and if I don't help them to be successful, I will not be successful either. So you have to park the ego back at home and just say, yeah, it's part of me, but it doesn't help me here in this situation. Now it's all about how I support the team become better. Because pretty much 99% of all the results that I've created, that I maybe even get in some cases, I get the credit for, they're actually done by the team, not by me specifically, through the entire organization. So I need to help them. If they are successful, I'm successful.
There's so much gold in this conversation. I mean, it's a lot of just simple principles on living a good life. But I think what I'm hearing, and it's just also my own experience, is the key is consistency. You know, a lot of us, we quit before the miracle happens because life is hard, work is hard. Being a leader, it's just hard in general, whether it's at work, at home, family, marriage, and we just don't stick it out long enough through the hard times. Like there's just growth is painful, growth is messy.
Yeah, and again, I go back to that resilience and being able to cope with uncertainty and in some cases even fear. A lot of people are not comfortable in that hot seat, where at the end of the day, the buck stops with you, and you're also ultimately accountable for the results and the failures. And that's tough. I mean, a lot of CEOs will tell you they have sleepless nights sometimes because they know that when things don't go well, it's on them, as it should be. And that's not for everybody. I think some people just think that that doesn't add to their life quality. It actually maybe makes it worse. So I don't think that trying to become a senior leader is necessarily a goal that everybody should pursue.
Mhm.
You need to have some level of comfort with being uncomfortable. That's probably a key requirement. I mean, there's not a day that doesn't go by where there's not some kind of an issue or problem that somehow needs to be dealt with. And if you think about it, when does the CEO usually get involved? Is when things don't go totally according to plan. Because if things go according to plan, you don't hear that much about it. So a lot of the daily work is managing the risks or managing the issues that are popping up all the time, as in any business, because nothing goes exactly according to plan.
What's the balance between being in the moment and giving what you can to the moment and to your team, but also the long-term strategy for the overall business?
Yeah, that's where you need to have some kind of an operating model, and there's no one answer to that. But for us at Optinova, we've implemented called IBP, Integrated Business Planning. So we have a cycle that both works on a 3-year plan that we do annually. Every year we do the next 3-year plan, and that's more strategic. That is work that we work together as a team with different experts from the organization, and we do the analysis and then go into some, identify the critical questions that will then impact what will be our choices for the next 3-year plan. In addition to that, so that's more long term. Sometimes we even go 5 years with that. Then you have the tactics, the operations. So we do that both on a quarterly basis and on a monthly basis. Follow up on how the business is performing against the annual plan. So both in terms of financials, but also in terms of the programs that are supposed to drive the financials. How are we executing on those programs? So you need to be able to work on both levels: strategic, which is more long-term planning. That's an annual cycle. You have to make sure it's part of your normal business operation, and then a monthly and a quarterly cycle where you follow up on the business and ensure that there's, again, relentless devotion, commitment to the execution. So you're following up on the plan all the time, every month. You're following up on that.
I want to ask about the word empowering. Bringing aboard the right people, and I've gotten to know some people at your organization, incredible people who are clearly living the same the same mission that you are. How do you do that? Because a lot of organizations get that wrong. It's a difficult thing to do to really bring everybody on the same page. How do you do that?
Um, yeah, good question. First of all, our philosophy in terms of recruitment is it's a multidiscipline thing. So we always put a team on it. So the interviews go with several people, different opinions, and the the CV will tell you if the person is qualified to do the job, but that just gets you to the interview. So
Mhm.
so actually, the interviews and the meetings we have with them are less about them doing the job, because that's just a table stake. Then it's about what kind of, are they a good fit from their personality, their values, their resilience, their ability to uh, work with different stakeholders in a cross-functional organization. It's about their personality that they've chosen at the end. So we put a lot of effort, and we put very senior people. So I myself, as a CEO, I interview quite a lot of people in the organization to try to make sure that the people we bring in will fit with our culture, will fit with our values. And they're not afraid of challenges. Or if they're afraid, they'll still take those challenges.
Mhm.
And they're comfortable in the discomfort. They will walk the extra mile, things like that. And that they're not, very important for us. We're not looking for stars. That's one of the main things that we look
Mhm.
for. We're not looking for people who we call it star mentality, because it's teamwork. So we need people who are
Wow.
performing well within a team. And very often we will disqualify candidates because we feel that it's too much about me, and not about us. And those will be the main thing we focus on. So uh, it's not that we haven't made mistakes in our recruitment. We have, but in many cases, I believe that we bring the right people because that's what we look for. We look for the right personality traits, and not just focusing on which numbers they made in their last job, and how many stars they got. So that's one part of it. Um, and what we're looking for also is the result of that. You mentioned the word empowerment. So the people that we bring in, we want to empower them so they can do their job. And to do that, they need to be willing to take accountability. And it sounds simple and straightforward, but you can imagine the number of people who are not comfortable with being accountable. Um, and that's one of the things we're looking for, is somebody who said, "Yep, I'll grab this ball. I'll take it." Uh, well knowing that there are risks involved in that, in terms of we may not succeed.
Mm.
And even though we try repeatedly to explain to people that if we don't succeed, that's fine. We learn from it and we move on. People are still afraid to be the person who is somewhere associated with we did not succeed. So that fear of failure, I think, is quite strong with many people, and therefore we're looking for people who are not afraid to fail, and are willing to learn. If you think about how we learn, whenever we learn something, where we develop, become better, it means that we're out of our comfort zone. Because if we are in a comfort zone, we already know how to do it. So in order to learn something new, you need to be in the discomfort zone, and you need to be comfortable in the discomfort zone. And that's what we're trying to create. We're trying to
Wow.
create teams of people who are continuously evolving, learning, developing, which means you make mistakes, and means that you are comfortable with that situation.
I feel like this conversation keeps circling back to fear and ego. And you said it earlier, though, fear is not necessarily the problem. It's when it leads to inaction.
Yeah.
because fear is going to be a part of life. It's going to be a part of our career. It's going to be a part of business.
Yeah.
And then the ego is like, I need to prove myself. It's about me. I want to, but you've said it this whole time. It's taking action in spite of being afraid. And how can we contribute to the team? And I imagine you believe this too. That also, and we could talk, I'd like to just hear a bit about what Optinova does, but that applies to Optinova's customers, right? Ideally, you guys all kind of are working toward the same goal. Like you provide products and services to your customers. You want to be one team. You're not just trying to get something from them. Talk about just kind of that aspect of it.
Absolutely. So Optinova, we deliver, or we develop, manufacture, and deliver highly specialized components for medical devices, specifically catheters.
Okay.
So we deliver polymer components for catheters, and we work with some of the largest medical device companies in the world, and many of them are in the United States. And so in order for us to deliver a good product, we have very tight collaboration, co-development with their R&D engineers and our R&D engineers. We work together so that our components fit within their finished device, and then goes into the procedure, minimally invasive procedure, to help the patients replace their heart valve or remove blood clots, or whatever
Mm-hmm.
other procedures we do. These are highly advanced products, and the requirements on the components are extremely high, very demanding in terms of the tolerances, the dimensions, technical specifications, etc. And obviously also highly reliable. So it needs to be of a very good quality, because it goes into a patient's body. So back to that. So what you talk about, the team, or we call it partnership with our customers, is that we work with the various stakeholders, both on the operational side, but also on the R&D technical side, to make sure that that product really fits well within their product and within their operations. So there needs to be mutual trust. They need to trust us. We need to trust them, and we need to work together to basically, ultimately, help improve the patient's life with the results.
Still, it's boiling down to that culture that you have there. Everybody working towards the same goal.
Yeah, and allowing the customers to challenge us. So once again, back to
Uh,
maybe in the word fear, the customers, I mean, these are some of the brightest mind, the best companies in the world, leading company in the world, and they come to us, and they are working on their next generation, and they're challenging us. So can you do this, but at this size, and with this with these dimensions? And you say, wow, that's tough. So, but that's what we need. Let's work together, and then we work and we try. And to see our engineers, who initially saying, wow, that would be tough, maybe that's even impossible, to go from that to saying, actually, we'll get there. It may take a little while, a few iterations, but we'll get there. To see that mind shift,
hmm.
that is amazing. And then that's where people rise to the challenge, work, get it done, and actually come out with a product that they didn't think 6 months ago, they didn't think they could do. And now we can do it. And then again, that means that now we've improved again many patients' lives. And of course, we also helped our partner become more commercially successful. So that, it all adds together, and it's all about partnering together and being willing to take some reasonable risks in order to get them.
This is all so simple, but simple doesn't mean easy. But I think the biggest problem that we keep circling back around to is, I'll use myself as an example. I have my own individual goals, my own individual bills and family. But if I over focus on those, I'm going to start alienating people around me. It's okay to have those. We all have them, but it's going to run into conflict with other people if that's my focus. And I keep just hearing you circle back around to service and partnership, and maybe your goal is consistently getting uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, people are different. Some people are more, like I said, more comfortable in the discomfort zone, and some people are
Yeah.
not. And I guess I get bored easily if I don't get challenges. So I'm more comfortable in the discomfort zone. Uh, that's totally okay that other people are less comfortable with that, and they want more predictable, more repetitive jobs. That's fine. I mean,
True.
so everybody. I think everybody's individual, and in the pursuit of happiness and pursuit of both job satisfaction and life satisfaction, is it's you need to find the spot where you feel good. Um, and for some people it means one thing, and there's another person it means something else.
What was your upbringing like? Because you have a very good value system and way of looking at life.
Um, that's getting personal here. The childhood. I'm a result of a good caring family. Though my father passed away when I was very young, and as a result of that, there were some disturbances to my childhood over time. So um, I would say that my childhood was a mix of a lot of love, but also a lot of change and insecurities. Um, but yeah, overall a good childhood, I would say.
What's the best thing that ever happened to you in your life?
Good question. Best thing that ever happened to me. I would say it is probably that I found my path, and it's not like I chose it. Like I knew when I was 18 or 20, I knew where my path was. But I found a path that continuously made me happy, or at least content throughout the path. So that's both in terms of career, but also in terms of my personal life, and the relationships that I've had, the children that I've had, the places I've been to, and of course also the job opportunities that I've had. All of those together, I think the path has overall been a good path. Even the mistakes, I think many of the mistakes that I've made have taught me a lot, and I probably wouldn't have been who I am without those mistakes. So I think the best thing that happened to me was that I walked the path, and still felt that it was the right path for me. I never felt that I was doing something totally wrong, but that I went left when I should have gone right, and that never happened to me.
Well, and that's not gonna do any good anyway, right? Just you gotta keep going either way.
Hmm.
If you and I were to die tomorrow, is there one piece of wisdom that you'd wanna share with people as your last message?
Yeah, and I won't take credit for it because other people have said that before me, but it does resonate with me, and that is, um, and again, maybe that's back to the fear factor. You know, I believe that people will regret, before they die, they will regret more the things that they have not done than the things that they have done. So even the mistakes, even the things that failed, you will often regret what you have not tried or not done. So I would say try to think about that if you look back at your life, try to identify more things that you dare to do than things that you decline to do because you're scared or insecure about doing them.
Wow.
That would be my, and again, it's not mine to take, but it resonates with me, so I'll share that.
Well, thank you so much for this time. I know it helped me. I hope that it helps somebody else.
Thank you, TJ. It was a pleasure.